Hello, welcome to the Married in Real Estate Show. In this show, we highlight amazing power couples working in real estate together. And today's special guests are.
We have we are okay. Joanna is the owner and president of Sure to Close, the closing concierge company where she assists agents from contract to closing. And Neal is the real estate broker, trainer, speaker whose pillars of success are excellence, service, leadership, and growth. I got to meet them through Florida Realtors. I run into them all the time, super committed. And Joe, I really appreciated having done I forget what that's called. It was like an online experience where you did Mrs. Better Half, right? So welcome, guys. How are you?
Thank you for having us on. I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm okay. I'm good.
Yeah, so we're doing well. So you all will see that wife is a little out of her element here. Usually she's behind the scenes, making sure that everything runs smoothly, but we got her on this side of the camera. So I'm excited to see what happens today.
I'm excited as well. I'm a true fan of you two. And one of the things that you guys do, I think just for fun, I don't know, you guys had your own podcast as well, where you were just kind of the funny bantering between the two of you, which I love. I don't know if you've done it recently. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, so we have not done it recently. There has been a request back, but we are still in the contract negotiations because wife has demanded more money per episode, and I have to close more deals.
Better less pays. There's.
I love it. I love it. Well, Joanna, I love how you think. But, you know, what we do on this show is we interview couples who are working in real estate together at any capacity. And we just want to know more about you, how you guys work together. So tell us a little bit, take us back to how did you guys meet? How did you get started in real estate?
She's nervous already. You guys see it, right? So we met many years ago, back when we were just wee lads. But back years ago, she was actually working for a real estate attorney that was in an office where the team that I was a part of, we had our office. And I saw this beautiful lady come in and out all the time. And I was thinking, man, I need to know who she is. So the short story is that I stalked her for numerous years until I was able to wear her down and get her phone number. And then here we are today on the Married in Real Estate Show. People think I'm kidding, but I'm very persistent.
Not. It's a very true story. The one case where stalking worked.
Well, we don't say stalking. Stalking is scary. We say persistent follow-up.
Okay, we're going to call it that.
It's like cold calling. You got to continue following up, right? Until you get it.
Come on, because like every no gets you closer to the yes, right? Every no gets you closer to the yes. And so what I didn't realize was that, you know, I joked, that's how we met, but then we ended up, the team that I was on and that I was the number 2 on, we ended up hiring her for obvious reasons, right? If I can't have her, at least I want her to be in my presence. And so we hired her on to do all of our contract to close processing on the team. This is when we were doing all of the REO transactions, doing 300 transactions a year. So she was our dedicated closing, coordinator in the office. And so then from there, she left me and us, the team, went to an attorney, went other ways, but, destiny ended up bringing us back together.
Oh, that's wonderful. So between the two of you, how do you balance the roles? I mean, we read the bios there. Like, is there ever a time where you guys are butting heads, or how do you sort that out?
Okay, so the first thing that I have, and I mean, it is very important to be clear about, is that my wife does not work for me. She does not work for me. No. So if you all see me, if you all see her, say, how is it working for Neal? She works with me. right? She owns her own company, and so we actually hire her and her company to do our contract to closing processes. So one of the things I think for me that I had to be very clear of is that there is a line between husband and wife, and then companies and affiliates. So my challenge has always been, because she works right there, like you guys can't see it, but she works right there at that desk. And so my challenge is knowing that sometimes, since she's working for other brokerages and other agents, I believe that my stuff should be top priority, and that's not always the case. Right. And so for me, it's been, okay, I know she's working. I know that she's focused. She has to take care of her and her business. And for me, we have butt heads a little bit, but that's because I know how I want my processes and my business run, but I can't say nothing about how Sure to Close and Joanna Oates runs her business.
Okay. Sounds pretty awesome, actually. I think I can't say I disagree with that method. But how do you guys get past when things do get, either sticky or heated even?
I think we do a pretty good job about talking about the issue so that we can realize what the issue is and then figure out how to resolve it and then move from there. Do you?
I totally disagree. No, I'm kidding. So for us, our big thing is just really a transparent communication, and so if there is ever a feeling, we really want to address it, not maybe right then, but before the end of the day, not to solve the issue, but just to let, each other know. And typically, it is me asking, because I will see a shift in, so I affectionately call her wife. So if you all hear me say wife, and she calls me husband, it's not like a degrading remark. It's just, what's better than husband and wife, right? So if I say wife, is something bothering you? It's because I know something is bothering her, and more than likely, I'm the cause of it, right? And so wife, is something bothering you? And then
I don't have a poker face. So if there is something wrong and he is the cause, he will know immediately that I'm frustrated or upset. And then it's me who usually says, oh, nothing's wrong.
And from there, it just goes in, just like we do in real estate with our clients, customers, or prospects. We start peeling the layers of the onion back. And I'm asking, did I say something? Did I do something? What should I or could I have said or done? And that's really where we're getting to. Now, I want to be perfectly clear. Where we are today is not where we started. And I think that's so important for everyone that's watching your show, is that when they see us, and just like when they see you guys, they see us having fun and laughing and making fun of each other and with each other, it hasn't always been like that. There were times when we didn't know how to communicate. There were times when we didn't know how to work out frustrations or to vent. And one of us would get up and walk out of the room and then come back in the room. And guess what? The issue was still there. So we walk out again and come back, and the issue was still there. And we had to figure out, man, this technique is not working. I need to try something else, because every time I come back in the room, she's still in here, and the issue is still here too. And I even tried to get her and the issue out of the room. That didn't help either.
Yeah, I agree. You honestly, one of the things that I always try to address is, I don't want to be going to bed like that. That's a problem. You take that to bed, that thing is going to you're going to sleep on it, and you're going to wake up the next day feeling the same way.
Keep growing.
It's going to keep growing. It's going to keep growing and add it on. You can't just sweep anything under the rug, You got to try to address it. As difficult as those conversations are, you got to be able to approach them the right way,
Communication really is
Absolutely.
key, but also asking better questions or just trying to solve a problem. And I find that, sometimes we have to compromise, right? When you have two different people with different ideas or ways of doing things, sometimes we have to find what that middle ground is so that we can.
I think Rebecca says it best. I need a timeout.
Well, I mean, it gets to the point where we can't resolve. Sometimes we got to take a step back, take a little time out and rethink. My dog today apparently is unhappy, but But yeah,
So
so
really quickly, one of the things that we did was after going through, having counseling and having wise counsel, we implemented these rules of engagement. The military has rules of engagement. So, many times it can turn into a battle and a war. So we had to come and say, well, what are our rules of engagement, either in business or as husband and wife, as we're working in close proximity and we're always together. I mean, always together, right? And so one of those were, right, there's no raising of voices. There's no bringing other family members into our drama or discussions. If one of us needs a timeout, and I know it's corny, but just like Josue said, we just say, timeout, I need 20. I need 20. And we could be talking about 20 seconds, 20 minutes, but timeout, let's diffuse for a moment, and then we come back. And then we even discuss what each other's hot buttons are. What are the one or two things that really would push us over the edge? And that takes vulnerability. And then once we know what those hot buttons are, we promise each other that we would never lift that glass and push that red button, because that would be immediate disaster, right? So, now that we know what our rules of engagement are, we know how we can have that friendly fight or banter back and forth. And as long as we stay within those confines of the rules of engagement, it's really helped us, because, before it was gloves off, green light, let's go. And so now we've learned a lot about ourselves, because ultimately we were not only hurting the other person, we were hurting ourselves and our marriage.
Absolutely, man. That's such a great way to put it. Honestly, man. Whoever take something out of this that conversation right there, because it means a lot. Take some notes.
I love this. And you guys, you have children, right?
Yes, so we have one child. We have a 13-year-old son, but we volunteer at church, and every weekend it could be hundreds. 200. So I don't really. I joke. They say, "How many kids do I have?" When people ask me, "How many kids do you have?" I say it depends on the weekend, right? But we only have one son, and I'm sure that your audience could appreciate this. We have one, but we're practicing.
I love that.
I love that.
Are we hoping for any more in the future?
Yes. So if any of your audience are praying audience members, we're actually praying for twins. So I figured that if we're gonna jump head first into this thing. Everyone wants that BOGO deal. And then there we go.
That BOGO deal.
I love it. Well, we're praying that for you for sure.
Oh my God, Neal, you're something else.
All right. Now, the rest of the community watching will go ahead and join us in prayer. Joanna, I don't know if this is what you really wanted, but I believe in the power of prayer.
Now, hold on, Rebecca. Now, this is where, like Josue says, like, Neal, I'm up. But here's my thing. Like, people ask. Like, people say, well, what can we do for you? What can we? And so I know what we've asked for, right? And what we're hoping for. So I just believe that a lot of the times we don't have the blessings and the opportunities and the things that are meant for us because we don't ask, right? And so that's why when you ask, hey, well, what do you guys want? Oh, yes, here's what we need. Here's what we want. The praying people, put it out there. And now here's where I will tell you, Rebecca, where you just said, Joanna, I don't know if you want this, but we're praying for it. I told her the same thing. I don't know if you want this, because my son is 13. Our son is 13. Now we're talking about starting over. My job is to give her the babies. After that, I'm going to go hang out. I'm going to say, hey, you prayed for these. Here's your blessing. Here's your other blessing. I've got to go to the football game. I've got to make my prospecting calls. Be blessed. Be blessed.
Okay. Hey. That will not be happening. I'm telling you right now. I really do need to pray for you, because it ain't gonna happen.
Praying for double duty here, so we just gotta be teamwork.
Hey, listen, it happened to us. Just a short story. 10 years after having her babies, we had one, and trust me, man, I was like, okay, this is the last one. She was like, well, I'm open to another. No, I'm not. I ain't open to another one. I got one, and that's it. I'm done. That's it.
it's reversed.
Yeah.
I'm the one that's
Yeah.
no more.
Yeah, she said that's it. No more.
That's right. That's right. No, but it's a lot of work, but certainly rewarding.
It
We
is.
love raising our kids, and through all the good times and bad times, I wouldn't have it any other way. Children are so. Tell us a little bit about, what are your goals coming up for 2022? I mean, I think your vision board has twins on it. What else is your plan?
So it's funny that you say that, because I'm just a student of success, right? And so everything, I don't believe in recreating any and everything now. So this is my vision board, and you'll see right over here we have the twin, but that's one, and here's the other one down here. Now it looks like 3 babies. We ain't praying for 3 babies, okay? It's just 2. We're just praying for 2. Now I know that you've got some prayer warriors in your circle, so y'all be very specific and with just 2. Okay, we are not trying to do octo, nothing. So for us, I think that our goals for 2022, the first one is for us to continue to grow as a family, right? So that's just been our number one goal. We've had some challenges, some hiccups there, but just to grow as a family in number and in closeness, right? So we as a family, we just want to continue to have a positive impact. And so I know that's one of the things. So opportunities like this, we're so fortunate to have, because if anything that we know that people need to see other good people win. Because if not, we would look around at the world today and we would think that all of the bad people are winning and all of the good people are losing. And we know that's not the case, but we just need to be reminded. And then I really think that one of our biggest goals is to do more, right? To have a greater impact, do more, of course, make more income, but to do it in a smaller, shorter, narrower, with a less effort, right? Not meaning that we want it easy, but just more intentional about the gigs that we take, whether it's speaking or the clients that we work with, making sure that we're in positions both in real estate and as transaction coordination and concierge, that we're only working with good people. Right? No one really wants to spend an entire day, week, month, or year working with just nasty, mean, difficult people. Yeah. And for me, that's a big deal. I don't know about for you.
It is extremely a big deal. And I've had to fire a couple of agents because it was not working.
Yeah, and I think just really, I'm just coming through this thing, so everyone's afraid to say the pandemic now or COVID, but just this thing, I think we start to realize what's really important. And so we're fortunate we get to spend all day together. But I think realizing all of the things that we've put off, whether it's travel, like how many people used to say, well, we'll travel next week, next month, next year. Now they're like, man, as soon as I can, I won't postpone anymore. So in our vision board and our 1, 5, 10-year goals, we're bumping everything up, because I think it's sort of arrogant of us to believe that we have 5 years or that we have 10 years. And so just being intelligent and saying, well, here are some things that we were going to wait for, but maybe we can move them up and really start enjoying life.
Yeah, I love that. I love that you touched on that, because that's very important. A lot of times we get the we get asked that question. You guys are always traveling together. How do you guys get this business going? Well, we built a business for us to be able to do these things together. You understand? And one of the things is, I tell you right now, I don't like traveling without her. It feels weird. I've done it a couple times. She's done it. I don't know how she feels. I'm talking about myself. It just feels weird. To her, she's like, I'm out. I'll call you in a couple days. But
don't call me, I'll call you.
Yeah, exactly. One of those. But to me, I mean, we've done this for so many years, man. And it's like I tell, I'm glad you touched on that, Neal, because it was one of the things that I said a couple years, even prior to COVID. I told her, I'm not going to wait to retire to start enjoying myself from traveling. I'm going to start doing it now. Now that we have these opportunities. I don't want to be 60, 70 years old trying to travel that I can't even get up a hill sometimes, No, I'm serious. And it brings honestly, I don't even see a joy in that because I see some of these elderly couple traveling to all these other countries and they're struggling trying to get by to all these places. And I'm like, man, I mean, I see that. And listen, I pray for them, God willing, protect them through all this, but I don't want to wait that long. I want to continue growing my life now, building our legacy now and enjoying each other now because here today, we don't know what's about tomorrow, man. That's the way I see it.
And so on that, Josue, I think it goes back to how many of us, since we're speaking to people in real estate, we're more intentional about planning our real estate business than we are about planning our lives. And so many times we're planning our lives around business and around the transaction and all of that. But then you look back at the end of a great year when you pumped out production and your marriage or your kids or even your health, they've suffered. And so I know wife and I, we've been intentional about, well, what are we going to do? What are things that we want to accomplish? When do we want to accomplish them? And so so every year we start our yearly planning for the following year right around this time in November. And then there are some things where we're going ahead and we're buying the tickets, we're making the reservations. And so that when life happens, we can say, well, if we can only make it to March, we know that we've got something big to look forward to. So one of our goals every quarter, we like to go somewhere, unique and exciting. Now, it could be somewhere that's local, somewhere that we just haven't been, that we've heard of, but I always try to have something to look forward to so we can get through those difficult transactions, those difficult clients. And then even those difficult times here at home when I'm like, man, I never say it. She probably says, man, I can't stand you. I'm like, yeah, but if you just hold on for another week, we're going to go on vacation. Everyone knows that everything is okay on vacation.
So tell me a little bit about your days. So you're working all day long. When do you shut it off? And what does personal time look like for you guys?
I'm going to let her start. Go.
Well, my work day starts at 9, ends at 6. And then in between there, I do have some downtime and I'll be doing stuff around the house because we do work from home.
So for me, my workday starts a little bit earlier than that. So first, can I just talk about our days in general, how we start? So one of the big things for us, like for me, I'm just an early riser. I love getting up super early right now, 5:30-ish, 6 o'clock, and just getting, so uno, right? I like to get up early because I know that once I get started, unfortunately, and fortunately, once I get started, there's no downtime in my day. So, on some days we have, she does get up with me on Monday mornings. Monday mornings, we do a connect group via Zoom with people across the country that we started called Thrive, Not Survive. And this started right in the beginning of the pandemic, where, people just looking for a way to get some positivity into their day and into their week. So she does get up early on Monday mornings, but then after that, during the week, she's chilling. So I'm getting up super early on the days, doing my little small routines, making sure I get some Devo time in, some prayer time, maybe read a little bit, maybe 5 or 6 pages, and then have our cup of coffee. So that's one of the things that we do get to do together. We have our cup of coffee, we go outside with the dogs for a little bit, and then when we dive into work, I'm in work probably starting around 8:30. And then depending on what the day is, I like to try to get all of my prospecting done on the first half. Really, I say if it has to get done, it needs to get done before 10:30. Because if I don't do it before 10:30, chaos ensues. And then I never get to those dollar productive activities. And so I know that by 10:30, now when I say prospecting, I'm not necessarily talking cold calls, but that's when my note cards, my phone calls, maybe video messages or video emails are going to be sent out. Maybe some follow-up after that, from 11 to maybe 12:30. I like to slow down long enough to take a bite to eat. Now, that's one area where I do need to get better, slowing down midday, because really by 1 o'clock, I've already done a full day's worth of work, I like to believe, and I might need a nap. And so then if I can take a nap, take me a 20-30 minute nap. And then throughout the rest of the day, I try to shut down maybe 6:30 at the latest, but that's because the reason she ends her day at 6 is because in her previous job, I would never see her. Right. I mean, she wouldn't get done until 7:30 or 8, and I would complain. right? I know it's hard to believe, but I would complain, saying, hey, I never get to spend any time with you. And so now the roles are reversed a bit, right? And so now I make sure that I stop by 6:30, we have dinner together, and then we'll watch something maybe, or she'll watch something and I'll just be in the room with her while she watches something, and I'm typically reading or working on something fun there. And then at nighttime, we're doing our marriage devo together before we go to bed. And then we might practice a little bit, and then we turn in.
Nice. Love it. Seems like a really easy day. I mean, if all goes well, right? You're doing your thing, she's doing hers, and no?
Yeah, that's the ideal day, but very, very rarely does it go as planned, just because we deal with people, right? So I deal with people, she deals with people, then she has to deal with me, and I have to deal with me. So you all can imagine the chaos that is happening about 6 feet apart.
Hey, Neal, first of all, congratulations. You were president or vice president, right, of
CIPS?
CIPS?
No, so I am not vice president. So here's what it is. I'm just really, really good at teaching and instructing. So I now this is Prayer Warriors, people out there. We're praying for CIPS Instructor of the Year. That's what we're hoping for. And it's one of these things that, you know, is taboo as an instructor, as a speaker. You're not supposed to tell people what accolades you want. But then I'm like, yeah, I want CIPS Instructor of the Year. And it's because of the opportunities that it would open up on the back end, so that then we can do more with a little less effort, right? So the thing for CIPS down here, I've had Letty Oliver, Deborah Boza-Valador. They've really got me plugged in with CIPS, and with a lot of my business being with global buyers and then people, expats who are looking to purchase outside of the U.S., it's really, really synergistic with what I do and the instructing part. So we're looking for big things, especially as the borders continue to open up post or even during this pandemic. So it's exciting.
Yeah. I'm waiting for the plan to open up because we have a trip planned for like a year already. Over a year. That was our son's graduation gift, and we had to cancel because of COVID. But
Josue, go ahead and get 2 more tickets. Like I said, we're like good luggage. We travel very well.
We'll bring you with us.
absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely. Wow. Awesome. Well, I love it. You know, what advice would you have for other couples working together in real estate or looking to partner up together and work together?
You want to go? Go.
No.
Okay, well, I'm going to tell you the first best piece of advice is don't forget your priorities. And when I say that, is that wife is wife, right? Husband, significant other, whoever they are, don't let the business interfere. Like for me, my next best piece of advice is don't believe your own hype. Right. And so for me, it's easy for me to get caught up in Mr. World Renowned or Neal Oates, the this and that. And then for my wife to say something to me and I say, do you know who you? Oh, yeah, you do know. You do know who you're talking to.
Still husband.
And so keeping that level head. And so we're and then be able to have fun and enjoy the whole process, enjoy the journey. And so I'm fortunate enough to have a wife and a partner and a friend who allows me to be me. And she's just embraced all of this. And she's like, okay, yeah, just go. I'll be right here. Just go. And then for me to see that, that's one of the most appreciative things that I have. Anything that you would share?
I think to add to that is, like, we work together, but we have different businesses, but it's also important for me to acknowledge his achievements, to make sure I give him kudos for everything that he's doing in real estate and what's coming, because I don't want to diminish his progress. Even though I'm staying in my lane and all I do is deal with agents, I want to make sure that I built him up as well.
Right. I think that's she's doing it for you, you're doing it for her, and I think it's a pretty successful partnership. Staying in your lane, like you said. I think that's the accountability also. Just between the two of us, I have to be okay when he asks me how things are going on my end, and vice versa. When I start asking him, how deals are going on his side, we have to hold each other accountable because we're pushing each other to success, right? We want to refine anything that's not working out. This time of the year is the best time where we get to sit back and kind of strategize 2022. What do we want that year to look like? We get to dream big, right? And then just kind of set that plan out for how we're going to achieve those goals or those commitments that we want to make for the year. And so we talk a little bit about it in our book, Married in Real Estate. That book still is available at marriedinrealestate.com. We also have a course that we sell, which is perfect for this time of the year. It talks about goal setting, vision planning, and all that good stuff. So check it out at marriedinrealestate.com. We want to thank you guys for joining us today. Any final words before we go?
No, I'm just kidding.
So for me, I just want to encourage everyone to find fun people and good people to do life with. In real estate, I know if you're working with your spouse, your significant other, make sure that you don't forget to have fun, because this thing is taxing. It will run you down. It can have a negative effect. We can do more good for others outside of our home than we do for those inside. And in doing good, we can allow that to tear down the very institution of marriage if we're not careful. So don't take yourself so serious. Have fun. Make sure that you don't buy your own stuff, right? So I don't buy my hype. I don't buy into the hype. I let my wife tell me how awesome I am and how awesome I am not. And then, so I just encourage everyone to have fun, have more fun than you probably thought possible in the pandemic, right? Look for creative ways. And then the next thing that I would encourage, and that I really want to leave with everyone, is make sure that the person that you do life with, make sure they know how you feel about them, if it's possible, right? Make sure that you don't hold back those I love yous or it's great to see you until tomorrow. Don't do that, because if we haven't learned anything else, that tomorrow really is a gift and it's not promised to us. So every chance you have, if you're working with your partner, as long as it's okay in the AR manual, when you walk by, give them a hug, give them a kiss or something, right? Give them a high five. Let them know, girl, you look good today. Something like that, just to let them know that you see them outside of just the role that they do professionally. Because I think that ultimately, if you have a great business and a horrible relationship, a horrible marriage, then we failed, not only as business people, but as men and women. So I think that's it for me. I know that's not what you asked for, but that was good.
That's really good.
That was good. Oh, that was good. Oh, come on, see, there we go.
Thank you. That was good stuff. Joanna, how about you?
Oh, she concurs. So when I talk, Joanna, she is Geppetto, and I am just I'm Pinocchio. So every now and then my nose might grow a little bit, but she's the one in control.
I love it. Well, we got our prayer list for them, right? We're praying twins, boy, girl. We're praying a CPIS instructor of the year for you. And we want to thank you guys so much for sharing. It's been a lot of fun. And we truly appreciate you taking this time to share with us. Love the wise words that you shared. And we wish you guys all the best in love and success. Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care, guys. Thank you so much for always, man.
All right. Till the next one, guys.